Ready. Hi, everybody. How's it going? I hope you're having a super awesome day. My name is Ciara Heenahan from Ciara Heenahan Consulting, and I'm an inner power educator and a life and business coach and mentor. And I'm here today to interview the fantastic Bronagh Lyons for beautiful platform called Common Society Issues. So, Brona, it's awesome to chat to you. How are you doing?
Ciara, I just want to say thank you so much. I am amazing, and thank you so much for facilitating this, because the interviews that you're doing are just so phenomenal and so inspiring. And I just think what you're doing, what Blake is doing, Common Society Issues is doing, is just absolutely incredible. So I just want to say thank you so much. I'm great. How are you?
Awesome. I'm sitting here looking out my sitting room window, and honest to God, you take for granted views, I think, and I'm looking directly at Crowpatrick. I can see the whole mountain. It looks like it's really close, which is apparently a sign of rain, but it's just fantastic to be able to look out at something like this. It's quite inspiring, and everywhere is lush and everywhere is green. I'm a bit in love with the planet at the minute, I have to say.
Yeah, I think I'm the same. I'm literally looking outside of a window as well, and it's gorgeous here on the east. I don't think there's any sign of rain anyway. The skies are so blue. I went out this morning for a walk. I brought my book, I brought my diary, I brought my phone to do some work and stuff like that. And I literally went to our local park, sat on the ground, lay on the ground really, was in the sunshine, sunbathing and just taking it all in. And I'm definitely in love with the planet. And I think a lot of people are actually, with what's happening with the lockdown and quarantine and stuff. A lot of people are starting to just really appreciate their environment and where they live and what's on offer, the more simpler things. So I definitely feel the exact same. Yes.
I like it. We're vibing. I like it a lot. Vibing. Well, I'd like to jump in because I think this is the perfect time to ask you the first question that I have. And I think that, again, based on everything that you've just said and the fact that we're going through what we're going through, I want to talk a little bit about passion and purpose and what those things mean to you.
That's such a great question. Okay, so I think a lot of people actually get a bit caught up on what is passion, what is purpose, what's the difference, are they the same thing, and the words kind of get thrown about as if they are the same thing. For me, passion and purpose are completely different. So passion is the things that you really enjoy. So these could be hobbies, they could be interests, like maybe you enjoy traveling, you enjoy being with your family, you enjoy playing guitar, you enjoy doing all these things, music, dancing, whatever that is for you, playing sport. They are your passions. And your purpose, for me, I believe your purpose is how you serve the world. So what you bring to the world, how you help others, and they don't have to be the same. Like, you could absolutely love baking, and your purpose could be as an educator. Maybe you're a school teacher or something, so they could be completely different. And why I actually am so glad that you asked me that question is because right now, with everything that's going on, I think a lot of people are really focusing on they're really aware of their passions because they're not able to do, they're quite restricted in a lot of things. So they're hyper aware of the things they love to do that they possibly can't do at the moment, which is great. So you're becoming hyper aware of your passion, and then your purpose. It's like, okay, what's actually going on here? We've all had kind of a forced pause where we have time to reflect and look at our lives and say, okay, where are we going? Do you know, am I happy with the situation? I'm locked down in my house or my apartment or wherever I am in the world, in the country that I'm in, and what I'm doing and my job, and do I still have a job? Do I know how to work from home? Do you know, am I enjoying what I'm doing? So I think all of us right now with what's going on is we're having a perfect reflection moment to say, okay, what is it I absolutely love doing? And once I can do, I'm going to go straight to go do it, your passion. And what is it that I really want to do? Like, in the wake of everything that's happened, what am I here to create? What am I here to innovate? How can I help serve and make this world a better place? So that's how I would describe passion and purpose.
I love it. And I love the fact that you've used the word serve, because for so many people, life, I think, had become, we have to do this in order to get. Mm-hmm. So very much I'm giving to get kind of a thing. And that's not a negative. I think it's just the way that we've been programmed and we've been taught that it's important to be. But when you use the word serve, can you talk a little bit about that and explain what you mean when you're saying, how can I serve, or what can I do to serve?
Yeah, definitely. So I think that there's been a lot of, if you look back over history, we go back to the agrarian age where there's like kings and lords and servants and all this sort of stuff, and it's all about agriculture and working the land. And then we kind of went into the industrial age where it was all about, going in and we like working in a factory line or like industry and all that sort of stuff, and it became more kind of like working from the land into working in a factory. And then we kind of went into more of a digital age and an information age where people could work online and work on their phone and stuff like that. And I think with all of these changes around the world came different perspectives, different priorities. People could see beyond themselves. When you're working just on the land as we were in the agrarian age, you only really knew what was around you, and you knew it very well, but you only really knew what was around you. When we went into the industrial age, especially at the very beginning, again, things started to broaden. People started making more money, objects became a lot more cheaper, baby boomers were like booming, and like the economy was roaring and all this sort of stuff. And then we went into the digital age where we really have any resource or anything that we could want at our fingertips at any time. Right now we're in a lockdown situation, right? So imagine if we had lockdown but we had no internet, we had no way of contacting people, we had no mobile phones, we had no contact with the outside world. How would we differ in how we're coping, right? So right now, while this is all happening, there's people that are literally like creating apps and creating software and creating platforms and creating programs and communication devices and all this sort of stuff that brings us all together even more. So when I say the word serve, I think that with all the changes that have happened in the world, you go back to the agrarian age, which is obviously service as well. You had obviously the servants and stuff. I don't mean it in that sense. It's more how can we, with everything that we have, with all the resources at our fingertips, with absolutely, we're so connected to the world. In the space of a second, we can contact anywhere in the world right now. We can share information. We can do all this sort of stuff. How can we best contribute? How can we add to the expansion of the world that is happening? And that's for me what service is how we can be a part of the global expansion, which is always happening. We all of us as individuals are here to contribute and to be part of the expansion of the world. And unfortunately, when we feel stuck within ourselves, it's often because we're not expanding. We're after coming to a standstill within ourselves. So for me, service is expansion. Service is being part of the global creativity and innovation that's happening around the world. And really, the more we expand, the more we connect, and the more we come together. And that's what it is for me, just being part of the global expansion and leaving our mark, big or small, whatever that is.
I love that. I love global expansion. That phrase is fantastic. And it really definitely does, I think, depict you in a massive way. I'd really like for you to tell people a little bit about who you are. And I'd love to chat to you about Epic Hearts Club, because I think everybody needs to know about it. So a little bit about yourself and what it is that you do, and let people know about Epic Hearts Club.
Yeah, so my name is Brona, as you said. So I am a global traveler and explorer. One of my biggest passions is exploring and being part of the world and the adventure and seeing different cultures and meeting different people. So one part of me and who I am is my hunger for excitement and change and learning and growth and meeting new people and trying new things. That's definitely part of who I am. Also a part of who I am is this hunger within myself to grow and to expand and to, develop and to be the best version of myself. And then another part of myself is also to share. That, to serve others. By when I learn something, I pass it on. I feel like I had this moral obligation when I learn something not to hold it in for myself, as to share it and pass it on. So who am I? I'm a mixed match of a whole lot of different things, but really, when it comes to how I serve and how I help in my past, and it's definitely not my story now, but in my past, a massive part of my story was depression, suicidal depression, social anxiety, mental health issues all across the board. There was a lot going on there, and I'm very vocal about this. I share it quite a lot because I want people to know that, I didn't feel that I'd lived past past the age of 18. 10 years later, I'm still here and I'm thriving. And I think it's really important to be able to share that, and it's really important to be able to communicate that as well, so people can see that, you know, there is another side of it. And sometimes, you know, you have to get into the murkier side of things to heal. And I know you're big on inner healing and trauma healing yourself, Ciara. So to be able to heal these traumas, to really come out and let go and to move forward and to live your best life. And that's really what I am passionate about doing, is helping people to live their very best life, helping them to realize that everything that they have, people used to say this to me, Brona, you have everything you have right now. And I couldn't understand it. I couldn't believe it. It just didn't make sense to me. I had this feeling of that I was a problem that needed to be fixed, that I needed to work on myself, that I needed to be someone else, all this sort of stuff. And I really realized that I do have everything that I need, that I do have everything I need deep inside myself. So it's reconnecting. I'm big about reconnecting back into you, into your soul, into your inner being, into who you really are, into who you were born to be. And before you even came into this world, the vision that you had and you're here to share, reconnecting back into that and finding that within yourself and going and thriving and being part of that expansion, being part of that service, being part of that creation. So from that, you know, it just, all of my life experience, all of my life studies and learnings, and the people I met and the countries I've been to, and all of that accumulated into Epic Hearts Club. So what is Epic Hearts Club? Epic Hearts Club for me is an online coaching platform. And what I really wanted to create was a coaching platform that was affordable. First of all, I feel like coaching can be so expensive and inaccessible for so many people, possibly the people that need it the most. So it had to be affordable. It had to be super accessible. It's basically your coaching platform in your pocket. So it had to be online for that reason, because I wanted to make sure that it was as easy as possible for people to access this. And then something that was just really inclusive and holistic. So in my past, I was a personal trainer. I've done a lot of work on my money mindset and all that sort of stuff as well. A lot of healing work, and then a lot of connection work. So I wanted Epic Hearts Club to be something that people could afford to have, was super accessible, and also holistic around the board, because we are not machines and we do not work in silos. So we are living human organisms, and we're whole beings, right? So what I did was I created an online platform where people could access 4 different coaches. So we have a personal trainer in there for your health and fitness and well-being. We've got yourself, Ciara, who is an inner trauma coach, so working through self-love and all that amazing stuff that comes with it. We've got a money mindset coach as well, to really help people become aware of their money beliefs, you know, how that could be holding them down, because again, all of it is interconnected. And then we also have a yoga teacher as well, so that people can spend that time to breathe, learn to relax, shake their body out, and really connect back into themselves. So that is what Epic Hearts Club is. It's an online platform where members have access to 4 different coaches from anywhere in the world, and it's super affordable, it's super accessible. And that's what, you know, I really feel that all my life learnings and all my beliefs and all my, you know, everything that I've been working towards is Epic Hearts Club.
It's a fantastic platform, and for anybody who's interested, it's Epic Hearts Club on, you can just Google it, can't you? You can just go in and
just Google Epic Hearts Club and it'll pop up, yeah.
And it's a fantastic platform because you're constantly putting information and content in there that's relative. I find that particularly over the past, say, 5 or 6 weeks, maybe 7 weeks, everything has been so relative. Everything everybody has been talking about inside there has been so relative to how people could be feeling in our current times. Yeah. And it's one thing to say we won't talk about it and we won't discuss it and there's nothing happening in the world. There is, and people feel it. And so when you're coaching people and when you're talking to people, it's really important to be aware of where they are so that you can meet them there and then take them to the next place. And Epic Hearts Club is exactly that. You're meeting people exactly where they are and taking them to that next place. I think it's a fantastic thing that you've done. I really do.
I just think it's such a gift, and you know, it's just another way to serve. I actually intentionally, although I am a coach myself, I didn't put myself as a coach in Epic Hearts Club because I wanted people to know that, you know, it's not about me, first of all. So like most people, there's nothing wrong with this. I know you're a coach yourself, Ciara. Most people, when they have something like this, you know, they're the ones that are the coaches, which is absolutely amazing, and that's perfect. I wanted people to know that Epic Heart Club is not about me. It's about the members, and, you know, to remove myself or to extract myself from it, because I wanted to focus more so on the other coaches. You know, a lot of people, they might follow my work and so they join Epic Heart Club, but I didn't want it to be the Brona show, because it's not about me at all. It's about the members, and it's about, you know, the value that the other coaches have. So yeah, I just absolutely love it. It's my baby, and I love working with people like you as well, Ciara. It's just it's such a blessing, and yeah, it's just amazing.
And it's great crack, because when you meet people you vibe with, there's a synchronicity there, there's a twinning and winning kind of a vibe, you know, and you can bounce off each other. And so it's been fantastic. It's been a fantastic opportunity, and going forward, God, the sky's the limit for you guys. But it's amazing to work with you, because you have such a great mindset. You're so focused on growth, and really and truly the word to describe you is definitely expansion, because there is no limit on what you're doing. There really isn't. And you don't have a limit on yourself at all, which is beautiful to watch. So this is going all kinds of places, and it's epic.
Yeah. You know, it's funny, Ciara, I used to work in a corporate job as well, and I didn't go to school for corporate. I did my degree in psychology, but I kind of came from a household where my dad was like real traditional, and he retired when I was a young age, and worked in the ESB all his life, Monday to Friday, very kind of structured, all that sort of good stuff. Amazing man, love and spits. And then my mom was quite easygoing, laid back, you know, she was just very relaxed, like you go do you, kind of very spiritual, but very like, you know, you're going to pave your own way, you go do what you need to do. So I grew up kind of like not really, I don't know, my brain just worked differently. And when I went into this corporate job, it was the first time I really noticed it, because, you know, I had moved up the social ladder, the social status, whatever you want to call it, ladder, mobility ladder. And, you know, I was now surrounded by people that maybe, you know, had different backgrounds or had different educations and all this sort of stuff. And they had different things given to them when they were younger, which is amazing. Love that for them. But what I really noticed about myself is that my brain just worked differently to them because of where I came from and my kind of upbringing and stuff. And I noticed like my boss at the time, the CEO, so I was working directly with the CEO, he would ask me to do something. Thinking nothing of it, I would go and do it. And like, it wasn't until after like a few months of him like throwing me different tasks to do and me going and doing them, like one day he just laughed, and I was like, what are you laughing at? And he's like, it's so funny like that you're actually going and doing all these things I'm asking you to do. He was like having a game with me to see like at what point would I turn around and be like, I don't know, like, should we be doing this, or maybe we shouldn't be doing this? Like, I wasn't programmed for that role, so therefore I had no limitations in that role. So when he was asking me to do stuff and throwing things at me, I was just saying, yeah, sure, and I was just going and doing it, as opposed to other people he had been working with that, you know, they're taught a certain way to do things, they're programmed a certain way to do things, and anything outside of that was just too much to think about, or, you know, it involves a lot of like stress and thought and stuff like that. So it was at that time I really learned that, you know, when we don't have these self-limiting beliefs, when we don't have these boundaries and limitations that we really impose on ourselves, the world really is our oyster. We can just go and just do things. We don't have to mull it over and think about it so much. Like, anything really is possible. We just have to have that openness to go and do it. So yeah,
I love really interesting. I love that, but I'd really like people to hear that piece that you've just said, because it's so good. It's actual gold. Is that he asked you to do things and you just went ahead and did them because you weren't programmed in any other way. So that ability to just go, yeah, okay, no problem, and not have to overthink yourself, to not have to sit there and go, am I allowed? Is this okay? Do I have the skill set? Do I have the knowledge? When somebody asks you to do something or suggests something, that you just go, yeah, okay. And then you're allowed to do that. You're totally allowed. Actually, just say yes. Like, it's such a powerful place.
Yeah, I really just felt like whatever he was asking me was obviously the done thing, so it was normal, so I was just going to go do it. Like, and if we just have that mindset on everything, like it just is a done thing, it's normal to do it, let's just go do it, like, then, you know, life is limited. limitless. It is all just about expansion at that point, you know?
Imagine if, and this, like my idea of a utopian society is everybody thinking for themselves and actually acting from that place. So no matter what you're asked, no matter what you are asked in life, and no matter what comes up in front of you, you never have the limitation to say, I couldn't possibly, I can't, I don't have enough skill, knowledge, self-belief, whatever, that you always just can respond with a, yeah, cool, no problem. Like, it's a liberating feeling that not very many people feel because of the limiting beliefs that they've been taught and that they're sitting under and don't even understand that they can take themselves out of. And Epic Hearts Club is definitely the place to go and do that, because you're learning consistently that you can choose, you can step up and you can choose, you can make a choice. Brilliant, just brilliant.
Yeah. And just one more thing I love about Epic Hearts Club, it's like a buffet. So it's super affordable. So like you're getting 4 coaches for less than you pay for 1 hour with one coach usually. And you're getting 4 coaches, and maybe there's only one coach at a time that you're interested in. And like, if you just focus on one of those coaches and just made that choice or that decision that you have and just treated it like a buffet, like right now, okay, I just want to work on my inner trauma. So I'm just going to focus on Kira's trainings, and that's all I'm going to focus on is Kira's work, because she's epic at what she does. So I'm just going to, as a member, although I have these 3 other members here, or these 3 other coaches here, I'm just going to focus on Kira's training. You're still getting phenomenal value. Like, it's still exceptional value for even one of the coaches. And then it's like the other 3 are just an add-on. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, and then like you could do work with Kira, so watch Kira's trainings for like 3-4 months, you know, and then decide, oh, okay, I want to go focus on my health and wellness now. I feel like I have the capacity to focus on that. You can just go back and watch all the health and wellness videos. Do you know what I mean? So it's amazing. Like, I just think it's amazing. I'm so proud of it. I just love it so much.
It really is, and you should be super proud of it, and you should be super proud of yourself, because taking your ego, we've all got ego is a part of who we are. There's nothing wrong with it until it becomes a negative, but you have no negative in that. You've literally taken yourself away from the need to be part of it, as in to coach people, because you're actually focusing on everybody else inside of it. It's another beautiful lesson, is to be able to take yourself away from it and go, you know what, this is about serving other people, and this is about having them being seen and having them understand and learn and grow. So I'm super delighted for you. I think it's a brilliant platform, and thank you for sharing it with us. And for everybody who's interested, so you're Googling www.epicheartsclub.com and you'll find it and you can join. It is so worth doing. There is so much involved in it, and you've loads to look back on already, which is fantastic, because we're 5 months in. So yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing.
Yeah, it really is. Go join.
Yeah, just do it. My favorite line, JFDI, and I'm not even going to explain what it is, because people will have to figure that out for themselves, because otherwise I'll have to curse on an interview.
I know.
Okay, so the next thing I'd like to ask you about, and this is really exciting, this is super exciting. I want to know about your book. I want to know maybe a little bit about it, maybe what's happening with it, where it's at, and when we're going to get to actually have it in our hands. Go for it.
I am so excited. Oh my goodness. Like, this is like, oh my goodness. I'm so excited. You know what? Like, when I was a little girl, I actually wrote a book. I should have actually got it prepared for today's video to show you, but it's like a little book. I typed it up, I printed it out, I created a cover for it, all this sort of stuff. It's the cutest thing ever. I wrote it when I was 12. And it just goes to show I was always a bookworm. I was always into reading. I was always into writing. I just loved it. I loved all of it. I wanted to be a journalist. I wanted to be an author. I wanted to be all this sort of stuff when I was older, right? So I've always had this dream. And for the last few years, I was really like, okay, I need to write a book. I need to write a book. I need to write a book. The thing is, though, the energy around that, I need to write a book, it's forced, right? It's not in flow. It's not natural. It's not your inner being calling and like pouring onto paper. That's like in your head. So it's like, right, what will the topic be? What am I going to think? What am I going to write about? Like, how am I going to do, like, all this sort of stuff? It was just forced. It was efforting. It was resistance. It wasn't happening. So thankfully, I decided all those years ago to park it and be like, look, you know, it will happen in the future, whatever it happens. The future is now, which I'm so excited to say. And yeah, the book is called The Game of Confidence, The Beginner's Guide to Believing in Yourself. And I love it so much. So it's 10 chapters, and each chapter is a level. Okay, so it's a level in the game. So it's written in a really fun, playful way, and it's all about like moving from one level to the next. And of course, if you're playing a game, if you're a gamer or you've ever played a game, usually, you know, there's different obstacles or different actions you need to take to be able to level up, to go to the next level, right? So each level has its own, obviously, theme, and, you know, you have to do certain things to be able to advance to the next level, different actions that you have to take. But they're all beautiful actions that as you go through the book, and there's so much information in it. I have 7 of the chapters or levels completed, so I just have 3 more to do. So I'll get that done super quick. I'm so excited. And yeah, I'm so excited. I'm pouring everything into it. So everything I've ever learned, anything that feels right and feels good and feels like joy and feels like expansion and bliss is going into this book. I'm so excited, and I hope to have it completed and launched and out into the world by September is my date. And I had this beautiful idea. One of the days I was thinking about my book, and I was like, how can I be of service with this book, right? So I was speaking to Carl about it, and I was like, I have this like nudge, like internal nudge and urge to do something. So I was like, I'm going to pick a charity or an organization that whenever it comes to the time that it's doing it, I haven't picked it yet, whenever it comes to the time that I'm doing it, that I feel a connection with. So some kind of organization that I feel a connection with. And for the day of the book launch, I'm going to have it that every single book that's bought on the book launch, 100%, all of it, 100% of the profits is going to this organization. And not only that, but myself and Carla are going to match that amount and put it in from our own money as well, just as
Brilliant.
a big, massive thank you. Yeah, so I feel like this book is a gift to the world, and I feel like that's such a beautiful way to celebrate the gift of the book that is going to be coming out in September. So I'm super excited. I don't know what the organization is going to be. Really, it doesn't even matter what the organization is going to be, because it's got, like, whatever it is, it's going to be epic. Maybe it'll be multiple organizations, who knows? But yeah, I'm super excited. The book is so fun. I'm enjoying reading it. I'm just in flow at the moment. I'm just literally like writing it all out. I haven't gone back and edited it or read it or any of that sort of stuff. But just one more thing I'll say about that is I'm really into energy work. It's like really into energy work and how everything has an energetic vibration. And when I'm writing the book, I only ever write the book when I'm in a high vibrational state. And the reason for that is because my energy transfers into the book, right? So it's like when you have a bookshelf and you have a book on it and you pick up a book and you're just not feeling it, it's because there's an energy imbalance, right? Yeah. So the book's energy and your energy are not aligned, so therefore it's not time for you to pick up the book. I'm sure everyone who's watching this at some point picked up a book, put it back down, and then maybe years later or whatever picked up the book and couldn't put it down because they just could not get enough of the book and never wanted it to end, right? So it's all about energetic frequency, and I want to make sure that this book, when it comes out, is packed full of high vibrational frequencies and vibes, so that when people read it, their own energetic frequency is increasing from the book. And what's beautiful is when you have a book written, it's done. Yeah. So I think about in generations to come, my great grandchildren picking up and reading the book and getting that energy from the book as well. So I don't know, I'm super excited. It's like total passion project. I'm putting everything into it, and yeah, I'm really excited. Excited.
I can't wait to read it. And as you're even talking about it, you're like, your passion is clear anyway, but you're so excited as you're talking about this flow that you're in. The fact that you're doing it like levels, oh my God, it's like you're speaking my language. It's so good, because when we look at people that we're working with, clients that you're coaching or mentoring or educating in whatever way, and you're working it backwards, because you're at level 1, and we need to dig down through all the different levels to get you to the root, to the cause. So that could be level 10 in your book. So with me, backwards, for you're working upwards through these gorgeous levels that people are going to get to play. And life is all about gamification of things at the minute. You know, it's a word I only learned a few months ago, and it's all about how to make things more playful. So this book hits all of the necessities that people want. Oh my God, I can't wait. Excited.
Like I love Robert Kiyosaki, and he has a book called Cash Flow, and he has a book called Rich Dad Poor Dad, and basically the book Rich Dad Poor Dad came as kind of a manual for a cash flow board game. His main thing is the cash flow board game, right? So then I was creating this book and I was writing, and I was like, this is so much fun, and like it's going to be such a fun, enjoyable book to read. And then I was like, who knows, like this could be end up as a board game, you know. We have this great board game called The Gift of Enlightenment, and it's all about, you know, chakras and energy and all that sort of stuff, and it's really enjoyable to play. And then I was like, who knows, like where this is going to lead? Maybe we'll end up creating a board game or something. I don't know.
I love it, but that's part of those internal nudges, those urges that you get, and it's literally listening to the inspiration as it hits you from inside, and then taking the next step. And you don't know where it's going, and there's no proof that it may go anywhere, but none of that matters. What matters is that you just keep taking the steps, because as you take the steps and the next one appears, and you take the step and the next one appear. You know, sometimes plans are made in motion.
Yeah, and exactly. You learn. So like I could be writing this book, and then from this book, then I think of something else, and then let's just say the board game, and then I go to learn how to create a board game, and then from that I learn something, and it completely pivots me in a different direction away from the board game. But I wouldn't have gone in that direction if it wasn't for the board game idea in the first place. So it's all about just following those nudges, right? Hey, Kira, I just very quickly, my phone's going to die. I'm just going to grab my charger. So you talk away, and I'm going to grab my charger. This is real life, people.
This is real life. I love it. The joys of doing interviews as part of a Zoom scenario. You know, I was talking to Blake about this the other day, and we were discussing the fact that sometimes audio won't be 100% right. Sometimes there'll be glitches. Sometimes things will switch over, but that's just part and parcel of the world that we're in at the minute. And you know something, like you said way earlier on in this interview, the fact that we can connect so quickly to people is absolutely brilliant right now. You know, in seconds we can jump on here and we can have an incredible chat, and people can learn from it. And I think if anything is taken from what we're going through over the last couple of months, it's connection doesn't have to be face to face. We're face to face. We might not be touching each other, we might not be in the same room, but we can have just as much of a vibe like this as we could have if we were sitting face to face. You know, and it's amazing.
Energy. It's the same as the book. It's like you write a book and the energy is in the book for so long as the book is there. So it's the exact same with this. Like there's no reason why, you know, if you're online or you're in person, it has to be any different. And that was one of the things with Epic Hearts Club. It was just like, you know, there's a lot of people now, like we launched Epic Hearts Club before all of this happened. Okay. So it was before, you know, people started working out from home, people started doing classes from home. Like people had this, like majority of people had this idea of like, no, if I'm going to go see a coach, I want to see them in person. If I'm going to go work out, I need to go to a gym. And it's like, sometimes, you know, that's not possible, but that's okay, because we're in this information age. Like there's so much at our fingertips, as we were saying. So like, and the energy is transferable, and that's so important. And one thing just on this with the charger, I have you're on a tripod right now. So I have my charger here, and then the charger is connected to an extension lead, and I have to hold the extension lead or else the tripod will fall over. And what's beautiful about that is like, that's real life. And like we get so caught up on things having to be perfect, or things having to be a certain way, or, you know, fear of failure, fear of rejection, fear of getting things wrong, fear of not being enough, all this sort of stuff. And when we will let go and release all of that, all of it, just let it go, just allow what's going to be, then things just happen. Like right now, I know I learned when you were talking, I was like, right, okay, people, if you're watching, you've probably seen my camera started to move. It's like, right, I put in the charger and started to fall, and then I was like, okay, I need to learn, I need to pivot, I need to find a solution. But rather than holding the tripod, I'm now holding the extension lead, and we're stable. So like, you learn, it's following those nudges. This is like real-time example.
And it's the truth. Adaptability is everything. And when you can adapt and pivot, and it's a great word, people are using it so much more these days, is pivoting, because that's exactly what you're doing. We're doing it in real time all day long. And for anyone who has just decided to work at home, or has been forced into working at home and working from home, and it's a longer term thing than you expected, then you'll know exactly what we're talking about. Tripods and wires and switches and charges, and trying to make sure that you're set up, and having books under your laptop, and having the right heights, and you're just sitting there going, if only everyone could see the back end of what goes on here.
Oh my goodness. So
it's
true.
good. It's good fun though. It's good fun. So before we finish up, what I'd really like to get across is, if anybody wants to work with Brona, then Bronagh Lyons on Facebook. And if you want to work and join Epic Hearts Club, then www.epicheartsclub.com. We'll be posting the links anyway, so for any of you who just want to be able to click and get involved, they will be there for you to do that. Brona, I'd like to ask you one last thing. What would you like to leave people with? So do you have a quote or a couple of quotes or a message that you'd really like to give across to people to send them on their day, their week, their month, their year? I sound like an episode of Friends, I'm sorry, but what would you like to leave them with?
My favorite quote, and it's so simple. I've obviously, you hear it everywhere. It's like a well-known cliche in a way, but when I was going through my depths of depression and suicidal depression and social anxiety, I was seeing a psychotherapist, and I had this perception of myself as, it was just self-loathe. Like when you talk about having low self-esteem, I had no self-esteem. Like I used to bawl my eyes out wishing that I could give my life to someone in Africa, a little girl in Africa, because she deserved it more than I did, and and all this sort of stuff. So it wasn't a good place. And my psychotherapist used to hold up their two hands. I can't hold up two hands because I'm holding it. But it has two hands, right? So there was like beautiful Brona, he would call it, and then the Brona, the vision of Brona that I seen for myself. And he used to always say to me, Brona, awareness is key. Awareness is key. And through the 1.5 years that I was working with him, awareness is key. Awareness is key. And I didn't understand the depth of what he was saying when he was first saying it to me, because I was in that space that I was in. The more I worked with him, I started realizing, yes, awareness is key. When he spoke about beautiful Brona, it wasn't the outer appearance of beautiful Brona. It was, me on my inside. Like, who am I? Like all the things that I bring to the world, that expansion, like everything that I have within myself that I can bring out, right? It's about being aware of all of that, the awareness of who you are on the inside. And also then awareness, the more you learn about yourself, the more you learn about everyone else, right? So becoming aware of other people, being aware of your triggers, being aware of other people's triggers. Right now, we are in a global pandemic and all this sort of stuff is going on, and there's a lot of, misinformation flying around and fear and all this sort of stuff. And the more we can become aware of self, the more we can be aware of the outside world as well. And the more we can really, really connect into ourselves and realize that, how much we do bring to the table, and like, where do we sit in this world? Not from what we've been told, not from what we are led to believe from children or whatever that is, whatever what limitations have been put on us, but really an awareness of self, about who you are and what you bring to the table, is so powerful. So awareness is key is my quote, and in the deepest sense I mean it, but even though it's very simplistic at the same time.
I love it. It's a brilliant quote, and it's really, really vital, because nothing else can happen until we become aware. Nothing. You can't take action from a place of inawareness. You can't grow from a place of inawareness. There's no steady foundations. So I love it. So awareness is key is your message for the day. And thank you. Thank you so much for coming on. Thank you for sharing everything with me and with everybody who's watching. I'm delighted to have had you, and I can't wait to have more chats in the future.
Thanks, Ciara. You're an absolute game changer. I appreciate everything that you do, and I'm so grateful for this conversation. It's put such a smile on my face. And one thing I'll just say about you, we talk about energy, but like, you just have the most infectious energy, and that's the kind of person that I want to be around. That's why I was like, hey, Ciara, we got this thing going on. Do you want to be a part of it? Because your energy is just amazing. Like, I remember one time I was living in China, and like, I had a conversation with Ciara, and we were just like having a rave with each other. It was amazing. It was so good. So yeah, I just want to say thank you for what you bring to the world, for your expansion and for your energy and for everything that you're doing and how you're being of service to the world as well. It's awesome. It's admirable and it's inspirational. So thank you.
Well, that's lovely. Thanks so much. Thanks very, very much. I appreciate your words. I'll chat to you soon, and it's been fantastic.
Thanks, Ciara. Take care.
Take care, Brona. Bye-bye.